It's another one of them boxing videos. By which I mean it's another one of them unboxing videos. I don't actually like fight it or anything like that. Not that sort of boxing. I mean, it's in a box. It's been ages since we had one of these videos, and I have got no fucking idea what I've got ordered. Oh, where's the little... Oh, it's this side. Well, that's very confusing. They usually have the sticker and stuff on the other side. What we got? This is Deathly Head. A collection with most of his original comics and a few guest appearances. I have never really gotten to Deathly Head. He always seems like a character that comic book creators like, more than comic book readers do. The thing with Deathly Head was he was actually created as a character for the Transmorphers comics. But Marvel, they wanted to retain rights to the character, so they did an insert in a bunch of comics called iTex Noon, which debuted the character. Oddly enough though, they didn't bother reprinting that. So the first few appearances of Deathly Head were in the Transmorphers comics, and they are not collected here. He also had appearances in a Doctor Who comic, and that is not collected either. Marvel obviously didn't have the license to any of those properties anymore. In fact, Deathly Head issue number 8 has been skipped in this collection because it features a guest appearance of Doctor Who. That was back when women weren't allowed to be doctors. I have tried reading some Deathly Head comics before, and it was utter gibberish. Here we go, and this is Deathly Head number 1. I think I tried to read this one and it was nonsense. Though I do like this little thing here where we've got the rules and they're written and they actually look like handwriting rather than like a font. And the first issue ends with him getting the costume that most people are familiar with. I have never read any of this stuff, so I didn't have that much to say. I think part of the reason that the character never quite caught on was, like Death Clock, all his adventures were set in another reality. I have reviewed one issue of Deathly Head before, and it was about this kid, his sidekick. This is issue 3 actually. I think this might be the one that I reviewed. Although I reviewed the reprint. In the 90s they did reprints of all these. Hopefully they'll have all the covers of the reprints at the back as extras. Then I can finally have a thumbnail for that hard video. Yeah, this is the issue I reviewed. A guy takes his sidekick hostage and Deathly Head's like, not bothered. Then he's on a train and some terrorists hold them all hostage. And Deathly Head, he doesn't really care. But his sidekick was in the toilet and he jumps out and he tries to save the day. And even though Deathly Head doesn't want to get involved, he trips up one of them. It's a fun little sequence, but not really much of a story. Then we have got this bit in a club, and a bloke with a mullet, if I remember, he gets hit in the head with a coin. The sidekick ends up saving the day. There, I told you he got hit in the head with a coin. And then we end with Deathly Head, who has mostly hated his sidekick for the issue, come to accept him a bit more. Plague Dog? That doesn't look anything like a dog. Looks like he gets a new haircut in this issue. That is not the most compelling cover. Deathly Head, he has got this gimmick where he ends sentences saying yes. And they have put it on virtually every single cover of his comics. This is an issue I'm very much looking forward to reading. He ends up crossing over with the Fantastic Force. So yeah, we have got the Fantastic Force. They bump into Deathly Head. And the Invisible Wife does a sexy pose. Would you guess that they all end up fighting him? Then we have got issue number 10. And I think I have got this one. And I have not reviewed it. The reprint of it anyway. Because he fights Iron Man 2020. I'll tell you what, I'll review this issue if they have got the reprint cover as a bonus. Then we have got a graphic novel that is meant to be quite good, although I didn't like how they have scanned it in. This sometimes happens a lot with graphic novels. Because of the different dimensions, they're scanned in and we've got like loads of white space at the bottom and the sides and the top. Like this was probably covering a whole page, but we've got the white bit at the bottom. I'm due in the hospital soon, so I'll try and read this trade when I'm in. Then we have got Fantastic Force 338, written and drawn by Simon Furman. Features a rather brief guest appearance from Deathly Head. I'm surprised they reprinted the whole issue, to be honest. Deathly Head's only in it for like 5 pages. I should probably review this story soon, but there's so much backstory to it. Then we have got an issue of She-Hulks where she fights Deathly Head. This is drawn by Ryan Hitchums. Hashtag make She-Hulks a lady again, please. The general opinion is that the She-Hulks issues, not by Jason Byrne, aren't very good. It looks like it's doing that thing that I hate where it makes a bunch of villains into jokes. Including someone who had just been made into a joke a few months earlier in the Fantastic Four Acts of Vegans crossover. 2 of them actually. And Radiation Man is normally a great character. Now we're just getting on to little like inventory stories, Marvel Comics Presents and that. Looks like he has beefed up for the 90s in this one. Looks like we've got a whole bunch of heroes teaming up here with Deathly Head. We got The Thing, we got Luke Cage's, we got Seaman, we got the Invisible Wife doing another sexy pose. We got War Machine, we got Captain America, we got the Human Fire. There is a rare glimpse in this of Deathly Head number 2. In the 90s they remade the character and he killed the original Deathly Head. And it looks like they're all fighting Deathly Head too. So now I'm really interested in this one. Hopefully it's not some alternate reality bollocks where they all die really quickly. It looks mainly to be Deathly Head versus Deathly Head 2. Not sure it'll make the most sense without any of the Deathly Head 2 stuff collected. Then we have got this. This is Marvel Heroes 33 and I have never heard of this. I didn't know when this came out, but it looks quite interesting. I like the art style. They're going for a sort of retro look. And when it comes down to it, there are 4 worse prospects than the Hulk fighting Deathly Head. Then we have got our bonuses. This is a house ad. It's basically just the cover to the first issue. Some Marvel Age magazine preview stuff. Covers to some British magazines. This one is by Simon Furman. This is the back and then the front cover of a really old trade paperback. Some sketches and designs. An afterword from that trade paperback. This is a cover to a trade paperback published by another company who have the Marvel license over here. That's a really good picture. Should be his profile picture in the Marvel Andy books. Another cover there for one of the European reprints. Another good profile picture of him there. And I went for this instead. A trading card. Some original line art for She-Hulks. The remastered cover for this trade. It's got none of the reprint covers. This isn't a complete collection, obviously. There's an issue missing and there's loads of licensed stuff that can't be included. But I reckon you'll probably have all the essential Deathly Head stuff in this. They've not even billed it as a complete collection. I also didn't like that this back cover is like a montage. Maybe I'll properly review this soon. In the meantime, I'll give this 7 thumbs up.